Hi guys, and welcome back to Playtech TV. And if you're a new subscriber from the competition we're running with the Checkpoint guys and Arcadia and stuff at the moment, welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be looking at one of my favorite cases at the moment, the Inwin 909. It's a bit of a beast. I mean, it's quite big and clunky, it's heavy as hell and everything like that, but it does fill a very, very specific place in the market, and that place is the ultimate high end. So we're going to be taking a look at that today. I did an unboxing a couple weeks ago. A couple people asked for more info, so I went ahead and built a system in it. So I've gone for like a kind of typical kind of something our customers might buy, you know. The kind of person who buys this case, they're probably going for some pretty hardcore gear. So we got the liquid cooling, we got the 980 Ti, we got some nice RAM, everything like that. So this is the kind of setup that you would probably see this kind of case used for in the wild. So let's take a look at what we have here. So as far as materials go, we've got some pretty grunty kind of stuff here. We've got a actual 4mm brushed aluminium chassis there, so it's different. It's the real deal. It's not some like fake brushed aluminium looking plastic or anything like that. That's quite popular. This is the real deal. So very chunky. If if you're buying this, you're investing in it. It's going to last a hell of a long time. You know, it's not going to get broken easily. Like, you would have to try really hard to damage this. And the front, which I've actually removed for the video here, but I'll show you guys some pictures of that. I'll run some B-roll over that. That is actual tempered glass on the front and the back, actually. So it's got that nice kind of like tinted look. So it's not. It just doesn't look invisible. Like, it kind of gives it that tinted kind of cool look, especially when you got some lights in there. It kind of just takes the edge off it and makes it kind of look all mysterious and kind of smoky and stuff. Very, very cool. And that is the real deal tempered glass. That's not just some bit of perspex or anything like that. Once again, that is very, very serious high grade parts there. So yeah, just 10 out of 10 for materials used. Absolutely 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. We've got all our normal sort of power controls. We've also got a lighting control that will allow us to turn on and off the LED strip in the front here, which is a kind of cool little feature in itself. Yeah, the usual USB 3s, audio in and out. And one of these guys here, which you might not have seen on a case too often, that's a USB 3.1, so that's the Type-C connection. So you can get 10 gigabits per second across that connection. Still very new, but you're going to see a lot of that in the years to come. As you might have seen on a couple cases recently, this is becoming more and more of a thing. We've got this chambered design. So we've got one little chamber down the bottom here for our PSU. So the idea is that helps kind of keep the hot component, the heat coming out of that component away from the rest of the system, and supposedly helps it vent out the back. This is a very, very nice power supply. I really like this FSP Hydro G I've got in here. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. So I don't ever really expect to have issues with heat there, but you know, the little chamber never hurts. It's kind of a cool feature, you know. And then yes, in the back here, we've got this awesome section here. So this guy is where the actual cooling will live. So we've got a radiator here with our fans on it, and of course another exhaust fan in here. This is kind of, I mean, I've got the closed loop kit in here, And it works fine, it's perfect, everything like that. But where this would really come into its own, and I really regret not being able to show you guys this, is having a custom loop system in here. This would just be a perfect home for our radiator if we've got like a big, massive, grunty sort of thing going in there. So I would really like to see what people get up to with that, and what kind of cooling systems they rig up, because you could probably put another radiator in the front there as well. So massive cooling potential here. I mean, that extra bit of space is more than made up for in the kind of potential that the kind of person that buys this case is probably looking for in their system, you know, very high-end sort of stuff. So that is very cool. As you can see, we've got the hard drive bays up the top here, where our 3.5s will live. I don't have any in there on the system because I'm running a 400 gig Intel 750 series PCIe SSD. Those things are absolutely beastly. They're incredible. So I don't actually have any traditional hard drives in this system, but you know, obviously someone who buys a system like this, they're probably going to have a couple massive drives, like holding all their games and stuff on there, whatever. So that capacity is there, no worries. So those are kind of some of my favorite things about it. So we've got the premium construction, like amazing quality. You really have to kind of like get your hands on this to really see for sure. And then we've also got the cooling capability, which is awesome. You know, like for a high-end system, it's one of those things that you're probably going to want to have. And then we've got all the little things like the USB 3.1 and the LED strips and stuff, which are really nice little touches that probably aren't deal breakers to most people. But when you're getting a nice high-end case like that, these little things, they kind of all add up, you know. So what I don't really like so much about it is a couple things. So first thing is, we've got positions for a radiator or a couple fans in the front here, and but I mean, there's nowhere really for them to pull air from. There's no actual proper venting in the front there or anything like that. So it's it feels more like just a place to mount maybe a radiator or something rather than actual fans. That may have been the idea, I don't know, but it's just a little bit weird, you know. I can live with it because we've got so many other places and we've got so much cooling potential here, but it is a little bit weird, you know. I can see that would catch some people out. The other things are the tempered glass. Although it is amazing and it looks great, you got to keep like a bottle of like window cleaner or something nearby just to like kind of keep it nice looking. Otherwise, it'll be covered in fingerprints and it's not going to look too flash. But you know, that's what to be expected with real glass, you know. Probably my biggest gripe with this, probably my biggest sort of annoyance is if we look at the back here. So our motherboard ends here, and so our rear I/O on the motherboard is here. But then we've got this extra section here, which is great for cooling and everything, but it actually gets in the way of our rear I/O. So to get to the rear I/O, we have to pass our cables through a little sort of a cavity in the back. That means if I want to plug anything into my rear I/O, whether it's a monitor, a USB, something or other, or whatever, you know, admittedly, there's not a lot of times I really need to get to the rear I/O. But if you are the kind of person that does, or if you you know, even need to get in there, you're going to actually have to either reach in the back here and kind of plug it in. But if you can't actually get, like my arms aren't the biggest arms, I don't have the biggest hands in the world, but I wouldn't be able to reach the top of the rear I/O. I wouldn't be able to reach those USB ports up the top. I would have to take this whole front or rear panel off and then reach in to plug into it. So that's probably my biggest annoyance with it. Aside from that, it's amazing. Like, it's really nice. This is really, really cool. But yeah, I mean, it is a premium product. It comes at a premium price tag. There are a couple compromises that are made for there, but the cooling potential and things like that, I feel like they make up for it. I feel like if you're buying this case, you know what you're getting into. You've probably got a good idea of the kind of system you're looking at, and you just got to take the good with the bad, I guess. The 3.5-inch bays kind of caught me off guard as well, because they are like a little bit cheap feeling. Like, they're not the worst I've seen. Like, they're not as bad as like a, you know, Cooler Master or anything like that. But they're just a little bit, you know, like just not, when you put them right next to the brushed aluminium and everything, it's just kind of like, plastic? What? You know? So, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. And probably the last thing, I don't really think this is an issue, but it is worth noticing as well, is that you definitely want to go for a modular power supply with something like this. You don't want to use a normal power supply because you got so much glass, you got the whole front of the thing open. If you use a normal power supply, I mean, and who would at this price point? You're not going to use a normal power supply. But if you did, you would have cables all over the place. It would look just absolutely just hideous. So modular power supply, definitely. Speaking of power supplies, like I mentioned before, I want to just go over the FSP Hydro G I've got in here as well a little bit. So the Hydro G here, this one's a 750 watt. It's 80 plus gold certified and it's fully modular. So we can disconnect every single cable that's on it. So that really helps with cable management in these cases and things like that. Because not only are you sometimes wanting to feed cables from the power supply up to components, sometimes it's easiest to actually plug it into the component first and then feed its way back down and back into the actual PSU itself. So I really like this guy here. So it also comes with a couple stickers. I'll just show them up on screen so you can actually change the color on the side of it, which is actually really good when you're working out a color scheme for a custom build or something like that. It's the little things that count here, really. It's got a really cool grill design. You can't actually see it in this case, but we've used it in a couple of other builds and people always comment on how the grill is kind of like that sort of modern design on it. It's not just some crappy little 120mm kind of like a fan cutout sort of thing. So really cool design on that one. It's the real deal components as well, so all Japanese caps, everything like that, so really made to last. They back it pretty hard. There's a 5-year warranty on it, and the price is actually really good. So I really like the FSP stuff, and they OEM for a lot of the larger brands. So whether you know it or not, you may already have an FSP power supply in your system, but why would you be paying a middleman for some extra kind of junk on it when you could just actually get the FSP one and probably save yourself a few bucks and get something that's just as good, if not better. And another thing you want to keep in mind when you're working with big cases like this is sometimes you might need an extension on the power supply cables because it's not always going to reach like the 8-pin up the top or anything like that. So another thing to keep in mind as well. I think that's all for today. Really like the case. The power supply is great. I mean, everything in the system is pretty cool. I got the 20th anniversary 980 Ti from Asus there as well. So that's really cool. But yes, the focus is definitely the case here. It's a great piece of gear and super high-end, really nice. I really dig it. Thanks for watching, guys. Welcome to all our new subscribers as well. Tell me if there's any cool new products coming out you want to see. I know everyone wants to see a 1080. I will get to that as soon as it's available. But other than that, have a good weekend, guys, and I'll see you next week.